Hey gang, just popping in with the first of those little supplemental videos I was telling you guys about. I finally got around to rewatching last week's episode, almost an entire week later. So I got to see the scene I missed, which was the Senator's press conference, and it was more or less what I expected. Supergirl saved her ass, so now she realizes all aliens aren't bad people. So yeah, it's predictable, and yeah, it's one of those things where I wish it was that easy in the real world, especially when you consider who she's obviously supposed to be parodying. Which again, I think leads to a pretty funny story from me and my roommate watching. Is it became pretty obvious who this woman was supposed to represent. Maybe not one specific person, but anyway. So pretty much as soon as that, my roommate breaks into a Donald Trump X-esque voice and goes on, "Oh, I'm gonna build a dome around the entire planet. It's gonna be awesome. It's gonna keep all the aliens out." Worth a chuckle on its own. But then cut to the first press conference. Right before the White Martian shows up, and then she talks about building a dome, and my roommate just goes, I know I said it, but I was kidding. That's not how it works, right?" So, but yeah, anyway, the scene was pretty much what I expected. I wish real bigots could see the light that easily, but what are you going to do? Though that brings me into the other thing I want to discuss on this video. And this thought hit me right after I uploaded last week's vlog. I'm beginning to wonder why. I'm beginning to think that part of my frustration with the show is I'm holding it up to a very high standard. And I'm beginning to wonder if that's fair. See, as I've mentioned before, Supergirl is a very important character to me, one of my favorite characters, and one I have a personal connection with, or however you want to say it. So there's that. I mean, my radar's already going to be, well, my expectations are going to be really high regardless, just because I want it to be good, just because I love the character so much. There's that. But then there's the added issue of this is a female-led superhero show, and female-led superhero movies don't have the best reputation. And again, I feel that this show is very important just for that reason. I mean, Jessica Jones showed that this sort of thing can be a success, and we need stuff like this out there. So yeah, and I've noticed this between those two things and the fact that I'm doing a weekly vlog and I want things to talk about. I am a lot more analytical when I watch this show compared to other shows. And, going to the comparison thing with Flash and how I said last week's episode of Supergirl seemed to focus mostly on soap opera. The most recent episode of Flash that aired as of this recording was almost entirely soap opera. And that didn't occur to me till maybe the next day because I was completely sucked into it. I don't have any complaints about the episode other than, I'm really angry at Barry, and I'm not mad at the writers or anything. He was acting in character. I just think he was an idiot and I wanted to slap him. But yeah, I was completely absorbed into it, and I didn't give the fact that it was mostly soap opera a second thought during the show. Meanwhile, watching Supergirl is like, okay, I realize they're setting up this scenario so she can go back to the office and help Cat Grant with that. And so while rewatching this episode, I tried to turn that more analytical part of my brain off. And I was able to enjoy it more, but I just noticed as I'm getting older, I'm becoming more analytical and more picky about what I like and don't like. I mean, as a kid, I literally absorbed everything you put in front of me, good or bad. And, and criticism is becoming a form of entertainment. I mean, granted, I'm way behind, but like a lot of people, I've gotten really into the Nostalgia Critic and shows like it. And granted, the only one I still follow these days on the weekly basis is Linkara's Atop the Fourth Wall about comic books. But excuse me, through that process of watching these very entertaining yet very analytical, well, we're going to say shows, I start to pick up on these things. And there's stuff that never bothered me before because I never thought about it that way, but now I recognize. I wish I could have some examples. So again, I'm not saying what I'm doing is necessarily bad. I'm just wondering how fair it is. Because again, overall, I want to stress that overall, I absolutely love the show. Again, I cannot be unbiased. It would have to work very, very hard for me to not like it. But it's just again those two big factors. I want, as much as I love it, I want it to be better. I know it can be better. And, given the whole feminism angle, it needs to be better. So, I'll probably still, I don't think I'm going to be able to turn that part of my brain completely off. And because if no other reason, I need more to talk about other than just, oh, the cast was great. Take a shot. But it's just something I've been thinking about over the past week. Uh, um, Tomorrow is the Bizarro episode, and it looks to be really exciting. So, um, yeah, see you guys soon.